My legs are so tight. Stand on that thing you made. Oh, Walker. Now, will anybody see me if I sit here?
No.
No one will see me, and you have the.
They'll only see me.
Oh, no one can see you either. Did you sign?
No,
in?
they will only see
Okay,
me.
I'll do
She hasn't signed in yet.
it. No, hopefully not. It's too early. It's too
Here's the agenda.
Hi, Dave.
Hey, Tom, how are you?
Pretty good. How about yourself?
Oh, can't complain.
Yeah, no,
I'm getting sick of these face masks, though.
I know what you mean. I can't breathe with the things on.
Oh, I know when my glasses get clouded.
Yeah.
Then with my hearing aids, when I take them off, the damn thing gets stuck in the hearing aid and pulls my hearing aid out of my ear. Oh, man.
You know, it's not easy getting old, Dave, you know.
Well, tell me about it. Oh, my
Oh,
goodness.
boy. Oh. I'll just be happy when things get back to semi-normal.
I know. I'm afraid these face masks are going to be with us for quite a while, I think.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think you're right. I know. Well, we've never lived through anything like this.
No, that's for sure.
The only
That's
thing
for
I
sure.
remember that was even close to this was polio back in the 50s.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, it was a concern. Yeah.
that was scary enough.
Yes, it was. Yeah, you wouldn't go to the swimming pools, as I recall. You were afraid of going to swimming pools, I think.
Yeah,
So
and they wanted you to take a nap in the afternoon when we were little, you know.
right.
Kids. I remember that. But oh boy. That's just a distant memory too.
Yes, it is.
Of course, there's a few of us that still remember the old pool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I remember that vividly.
Oh boy, so do I.
Absolutely.
Boy.
Do you have the control at your house, or does Melissa have that at Borough Hall?
Melissa has it at Borough Hall.
Okay.
Yeah, she runs all the meetings. Thank God.
Yeah.
I'm not that much of a techno weenie. You still enjoying your place over there at the?
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
That's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, we were ready. You know, it was a lot, 4 floors of steps, and I did all the yard work and all the cutting of the grass and a lot of cleaning. So yeah, we were ready. I mean, we loved the place, but it was time to move on.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But and we just love it here. It's you have to come over and see it sometime. It was the old ballroom and the porch. That's
Well, you look right down over the playground.
Oh, absolutely. I look over to Pavilion all the time.
Yeah, that's really great.
Yep. Great view and all the trees around us. It's like living in a tree house.
Did they make an apartment out of the old Washington Library?
That was downstairs in the bottom.
Yeah.
Yes, that is an apartment. In fact, a girl just moved into it last week. Yes.
Oh wow, that was really neat when that was the library.
Yes. And Yeah, he has 7 apartments in here, including
7?
that one. Yep, yep. He did a nice job with it, really. Oh,
Yeah, and they really didn't spoil the aesthetics of the building either, which is
no. Oh, no,
really,
not at all.
it's really great. Yeah, that's great.
Any thought about when the borough's going to open up?
Kind of waiting right now for the governor.
Oh, yeah.
Your guess
It's like,
is fine. It's one of my fellow councilmen said his crystal ball isn't working today either. So,
oh, man, I'll tell you, none of them are.
no.
None of them are.
Good
I think
afternoon, everyone.
Uh-oh, Mr.
No.
Jenks. Well, how are you doing?
Good, Dave, and yourself.
Can't complain.
Good.
Good afternoon, all.
I
Oh, there's
Steve,
Steve. All right, nice, Steve.
Hello.
just another day in paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, it's another shitty day in paradise.
Oh, well.
Did I miss the singing happy birthday to Bill?
Oh, that's right.
Stop.
It's your birthday today, Bill.
Yes, sir.
How old are you today?
Oh, I hit the 6'5" today.
Is that right?
Yep.
Oh, happy birthday.
Welcome to Medicare.
Your health
Yeah,
insurance
that's
just got cheaper.
Yeah, it sure did.
Hey, can you hear me there?
Yep.
Got you, Tom.
Hi,
Oh,
Tom.
darn. Hi, hello. I turned this on, of course, and it says, you need to update your Zoom, whatever.
Hate that.
Oh, and I went, are you kidding me? Not right now. Oh,
Mine did that a couple of weeks ago.
oh, geez. I'm there like, not today, please.
Or tomorrow at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, what? Yeah.
Yeah. Or tomorrow at 9. Yeah, for sure.
I just ignored that. Isn't that something the administrator has to do?
I don't know. Hi, Dave.
Hey, how you doing, Tom?
All right. You know what I just noticed? I don't know if we had you on the list up there at the top this time.
I noticed. That mean you've thrown me out, or what does that mean?
Oh, no. You'll still
I
be
have
first.
I have a 20-minute speech already. I hope you didn't cut me out.
geez.
Oh, geez.
Let's see, who else are we missing here? Who else is officially on the committee? I know we always have lots of guests here. Paul said he could make it. Now, so we have, Melissa, are you there?
Okay.
Jim's there. Melissa, are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah. Who are we officially missing yet?
Looks
Paul.
like Paul Brass, yeah.
And so it's me, Paul. Well, he said he could come today. He sent an email and said he could make it. So that would be 1, 2. Who else is officially on the list there, Melissa?
Everyone else is here. We have Steve Brunner,
Yep.
Tom Mole.
Here.
Yeah,
You know what? I think we're missing John Woodward.
yeah, you're right. And it's only 3:01. Okay, well, are there any other ones there, Melissa?
I talked to John this morning and he said he was going to be on the call.
I mean, any other public thing, Melissa?
No, there is no other public.
Gee. Is our usuals there?
Nope, they're not there.
Wow. Are we sure? Am I on the right planet here today or what? All
Well,
right,
it
well,
sounds like we can finish.
yeah, we have a quorum to start, so I guess we will. So public comment? Anybody?
Put this on speaker, Greta. Wow,
Who is that?
John Woodward.
Oh, okay, John is here. Okay. Do we need to take official attendance, Melissa?
Yeah, we can do that.
All right, let's get going.
Okay. Tom Boucher,
Here.
Paul Brass, Steve
Huh.
Brunner,
Here.
John Woodward, Tom Mole.
Here.
Okay. All right. So, public comment. Hearing none, we'll move on to Mr. Reeser there. I'll change that around a little bit because he's usually number one on the list there. So Dave, whatever you have, Dave.
Okay, I have a couple items. I haven't really brought you fellows up to date for a while. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Several months ago, at the height of this pandemic, we had set up emergency crews and what have you at the Water Authority. But now we are back to normal operations again, so things are seeming to calm down a little bit. Regarding the pipeline, they have started to lay pipe and build an access road. So they're actually pushing dirt around.
Wow.
So that's something which we had not known about the last time I spoke with you. So it appears that we're on the way. Thirdly, I'd just like to make a comment about Pennsylvania Water. I know that they're usually in an acquisition mode, and I guess as any profitable business, if they will sell anything if the price is right. So I'll just leave it at that. But and also Western Berks offers our help to the borough if they desire. And during this process, we might be able to give some insight. We've dealt with Pennsylvania America. So, you know, if we can help in any way in this process, please call Chip.
Okay.
And that's about all I have.
All right. I saw Chris was there. Chris, do you have
Yeah,
anything?
yes, all right.
No, I don't really have anything to add to that.
Okay. All right. Well, as always, thanks for coming. It's always good to get those updates and right from the source there. Well, that's good. Glad they're moving dirt, and yeah, we'll see. Maybe Jim McCarthy. Do you have any comment about the PA American? Since you just mentioned that.
Well, I mean, we drafted the letter to be sent to them. I think that just went out the end of last week, so we haven't heard any response from them on that.
Okay.
Request.
All right. So it is sent out though, right?
I believe so.
Okay.
I'm sorry, did a letter go out to to PUC as well?
Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Both letters have been mailed.
Okay. All right. That's under the water system part there, but I thought since we were touching on it there, might as well touch on that a while.
Sure.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Chris and Dave, as always.
All right. All right.
And whatever you want to do there. Okay. Michelle, I guess you're next.
Melissa, can you scroll down to my report? Thank you. Not a ton changed in the month of May. Craft only resumed doing some property maintenance code inspections as of June 5th. Focusing on ones that I had a list that I was compiling from March, April, and May, which were predominantly for grass, weeds, trash, and rubbish. All of the grass and weed properties have been posted. Some the owner has already complied, some the owner has not, and I've reached out to Diebold, which is the landscaping company the borough uses when an owner does not maintain their grass, and those properties will be taken care of. Otherwise, Craft is going to start following up on all of the properties listed on this report that had outstanding issues in March when the pandemic hit. Kraft's gonna start following up on them to see if the owners took advantage of perhaps some extra free time to deal with what they needed to take care of. And I should have a lot more information for you at the July meeting.
Okay, I know there was one, is that one on the list over there, the, on Spring Street?
1050. So yes, it was posted last week. I
Oh.
had notified Diebold to cut it, and when they went out, they noticed that portions had already been cut. They think what happened is whoever went out to do it started doing it and realized whatever equipment they were using, they were in over their head, and were coming back with better equipment because it looked like a farm field. So I'm giving them a day or two to see if, you know, the owner voluntarily finishes what he or she has started doing. And if not, I'm going to let Diebold know to go back and finish it.
Yeah, I went by there this weekend, and I know Tom commented about it last time, and it looks like a trash barrel. It's worse than any private property or, you know, individual resident property I've ever seen. I think it's bad. Really
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah.
There's no, so maybe this week, you know, on their butt about that one. Maybe there's.
We're already on their butt about it. Like I said, it was posted last week, giving the owner 24 hours to comply. Diebold went out on the borough's behalf to do it for the owner. The only reason I had them stop is because it had already been, I'm going to say, a quarter of the way cut. And there's no sense in us paying a contractor and then having to go through all the paperwork to pass those costs on if the owner's already doing it. So if it's not finished within another day or so, Diebold will go back and finish it.
Okay, well, wow, that would be good. I mean, I just happened to go past there this weekend. I went, oh my God. Okay, I don't know. Are there any others that are problem children there?
On the list you're looking at,
Yeah.
and there's, I mean, Lisa Gerhardt, my court hearing date with her has been extended now at this point, I think until July. I know Wyomissing Hills pool owes us an answer on what they're going to do with the retaining wall. They had indicated that they were going to fix it. I don't know if, you know, COVID has impacted their plans to do so. That's one that we're hopefully going to have an answer from in the next week or so. But the rest of them, I wouldn't say they were problem children. They got their notice and we're working on it.
Okay. All right. Anyone else with any comments for that? All right. Anything else for any of that other code stuff, Michelle?
There was a note on the agenda underneath my usual report. I had received a request from the owner of 1602 Cleveland Avenue to allow a curbside electrical connection for electric car charging. 1602 Cleveland is a very odd property in that it doesn't have any alley access. It does not have a driveway, and there's no way, looking at the property, I could see that a driveway could be put in because of line of sight issues with it sitting at an intersection. So I talked to Chris briefly when this request first came through a couple weeks ago about, you know, could we even allow this? How would that work? Because it would be within the public right of way, which is the borough's property. I had asked the property owner to submit a formal request in writing, which I've not received. I followed up with them twice and have not heard back from them. So there's nothing the committee needs to do at this time. Chris, I don't know if you even want to get into the explanation as to how we legally could allow a property owner to do something like that. But it is good food for future thought in that, you know, there are a decent amount of properties between Penn Avenue and Parkside Drive North that would have access issues potentially with putting in some type of electric car charging station that they would almost have to do it curbside, and electric cars are becoming more popular. So this may be a request we receive more of in the future, but again, I don't know that there's anything we need to do about it today.
The only thing I would add, Michelle, is that there is some similarity to what we do for handicap parking, where we have a permit and an application process, and it's reviewed and recommended and approved if they meet certain criteria. Now, this obviously is a little bit different, but the process could be something that would be similar to what we would do with a handicap parking space, that somebody who is a private person has some special privileges with regard to a portion of the curb in front of their property.
Can we check that?
Tom, can I
Can't be
mention
that-
something?
This
Tom,
can't-
can I mention something?
Yeah,
Please.
go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt, but I was curious as to why we didn't have our normal friends on there. I just looked at the website. I don't see this meeting scheduled on the website with Zoom information. The next meeting it shows is personnel. So I just thought I'd mention that to you.
Now, Adrian is on the call. I see his name.
Okay. All right. I didn't see it on the website. I just,
No, I think the notice must have gotten out because Adrian is on the call.
okay. Sorry.
Just back to that a second. Is this something that we can, instead of reinventing the wheel, maybe other places have some, permit paper or something, Chris, that we can find out through the
Yeah.
Boroughs Association or something?
Sure, we can research that. I haven't taken the time to do that at this point. I think we wanted to see if there was any interest in reviewing this possibility or not.
Oh, I think so, because that could be, and there are a lot of places that don't necessarily have just access to the back, or why can't they have access to the front? I don't know. I mean, but at least if we could see something from some other place to compare it with or see what it looks like, that would be good.
So the committee, you think, would at least be interested in exploring it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I would be, yeah.
Yeah. At least,
I don't think the committee should deny people the ability.
yeah. All right, for next meeting, please.
Okay. 'Cause what makes this special is that the private property owner at their own expense would have to install some kind of an electrical service that would not extend into the street, but would be somewhere, right outside the curb where they would have access to to that electrical outlet to plug their car in. So we don't have anything like that.
The modern day, like they used to have a tie-up for the horses there in front of your house, so now it's gonna be,
Yes.
there you go. Now it's an electric plug. All right,
All right, well, we'll look into it for next month.
all right. Okay, on to the water system there, Melissa. Oh, is that next?
No.
Good. Oh. Okay, wait, I didn't have that one in there, I don't think. Oh, that must be an updated one. I had a different list there. Okay. All right, let's go with the capital projects.
Me to speak to that?
Yep, go ahead.
When I heard this was part of the discussion today, I just put this very brief piece together with what would be, if we were to entertain some of these capital projects that we cut earlier, the order of which I'd do them. And the first one would be the sewer work that Jim's office had already put the bidding documents together. I feel it would be the most important. And we are looking at roughly $150,000 if we would work. You can read there. The vast majority is cleaning and TVing the Berkshire Heights area, along with some pipelining and point repairs from last year's TV work. The street projects we already bid. The total cost when we bid them was $795,000. The issue with doing any street work is we've already sent residents that had bad curb letters that they would need to replace some curb for the street work. Then we sent them second letters saying that we were putting these projects on hold. We go back, we'd have to dialogue with them again to say, hey, the project's back on. So I don't know how big of an issue that would be, but it is what it is. 50-50 sidewalk, we had 50 applicants. And I've gotten even calls since the application period ended. And my thought there is if we don't do it this year and again do it next year, you know, we may have another 50 applicants, I don't know, and twice the expense next year. But I put that one third. The water main replacement, it's nothing urgent. We know it's some old pipe. It hasn't caused us problem. There are 2 or 3 bad valves in that area that we know don't close correctly. That's probably just as important as the main itself, but we can surely get by another year. And then I just wanted to keep people aware that earlier we had talked about the library and some heating issues there and the possibility of a roof. That's the order I would put them in.
Okay.
Well, Steve, you want to come in on this?
The finance committee just asked in case we get a good, get some good numbers that we would prioritize this. Phyllis has done some preliminary work. We have a lot to look over, but at this point, I wouldn't get too excited about any of the projects. But I think we'd be able, if we could, if there is the ability to do it, which there may not be, but if there is the ability to do it, we want to be able to go to something quick, and maybe we can't go to something that's $150,000. Maybe we can only do something that's $50,000. I don't know, but we'll see. We'll keep that in the process.
Okay, I personally out of that list, maybe the library stuff ought to be moved up. I don't know. I don't. Can we get away without sewer streets and sidewalk stuff, Jim? And because that library thing, yikes.
Well, to me personally, the sewer is the most important because I just hate falling behind with root intrusion and I&I issues. I just hate to, and we're not flushing any sewers in-house because of COVID, and that's why it's the most important to me is the sewer. I'm just telling you the truth. If we did anything at the library, we could get away, at least for the time being, with the burner that it attaches to the furnace there. It's relatively inexpensive.
Okay. All right,
Okay.
We'll let it go at that.
Yeah, we'll let it go at that, and we'll see what finance comes back with.
Okay. All right. Onward there, Melissa. Okay. Traffic planning design.
Jim, are you going to speak to this?
Sure. So these are the bids that were received on 4th Street. We received 3 bids, one from Barwas Construction, one from Construction Master Services, and a third from the H&K Group. Barwas was the low bid. Basically, the base, it's all the base bid. This was just broken out in case we needed PennDOT funding. We had to bid it separately. But let's just jump to the page. If we can go back, yeah. So Barwas is the low bidder at $1,737,444, if I'm reading that correctly. Yeah, 444 on that project. That included in that is the bicycle route path that Michelle had gotten the grant from PennDOT on. What is not included as part of the bike path is the Zagster bike share stations, and the bike repair structures themselves that go along the route. So at this point, we have the $2 million DCE grant and $187,000 from PennDOT to do the West Reading Wyomissing bicycle paths, as well as the portion of the project, the soft cost, if you recall, where Equus agreed to advance fund those, so the borough was not out of pocket. And that's about $229,000 to date for all of the engineering and permitting work done. So basically, it looks like with the work done today, to date, the bid for the work and the construction inspection during construction, the project will be right around $2.1 million. And if we look at the grants, we're basically about $2.18 million in grant money to do the project. And this is without the PennDOT MTF grant. We still have not heard anything on the word of that.
So we're pretty close.
We're like right on the money.
Yeah.
So along those lines, I have a call with Kathy and Colleen tomorrow morning, our grant writer and lobbyist. Kathy has still not been able to confirm with Jenny Granger from PennDOT that the borough is definitely in line to receive the PennDOT grant. I had a call with her last week and said, I appreciate the full court press you've been doing with Jenny, but at this point, I don't know that we necessarily need that funding because we're pretty much awash with what we already have and what the bids came in at. And Kathy's response was, are there other projects the borough has that we could roll into this, that she could talk to Jenny about amending our application and potentially still getting that PennDOT grant funding while expanding the scope of the project. Now, keep in mind, PennDOT does have a 30% match. So if we got $1 million, we'd be out $300,000. Jim had some great ideas for 3 different potential things we could roll into this. One being the bridge across from the YR Club, which we already have the DEP permit to replace. I think the cost for that was about $250,000. Is that correct, Jim?
That's correct.
The second was stormwater management projects, and the third was, since Greenlight Go has been shelved indefinitely, we were looking at about $900,000 in traffic signal upgrades. So any of those 3 things, we could potentially talk to PennDOT about amending our MTF application to use the funding for that instead of 4th Street, since we no longer need it for 4th Street.
Okay.
Does the committee have a preference on which of those 3 projects you'd prefer me to start the conversation with them about?
I don't have any preference that I know of, unless there's a reason for you think us having one.
Steve, from the finance committee, would you have a preference?
No, not really.
Okay. I mean, my thought is I'll float all 3 options, not knowing the cost for stormwater management off the top of my head. Jim, I don't know if you know what that number is. We could potentially even roll 2 of those in, depending how much funding we would potentially be receiving from PennDOT.
Yeah, I mean, if we did pretty much everything that's in that draft borough-wide improvement, other than do anything with the giant pipe in the rear yards of Brandywine and Lincoln, I think we're around $800,000 to do everything.
We could do that and the bridge at $1,050,000 and have a match of, let's just say $325,000.
Right. I know we had planned on doing the bridge next year, so You know, and obviously it comes down to a finance thing, but if we were going to do that, you could essentially, if you get the grant, the 70/30 grant, you could basically do both projects for what we were going to spend on just doing the bridge through general fund money.
Yeah.
Do we believe the Green Light Go funding will eventually be restored?
No, we do not, they do not expect it to be restored anytime soon.
So what happens with that stuff?
We're
Well,
on the hook.
we submitted, well, that's further down the agenda, but while we're talking about, we had, when it came out that they weren't going to have any more money, we had traffic planning and design stop where they were that day and send a final bill in. And then Phyllis had made a submission of the bill she had to date, and I think there's one more that was going to try and get reimbursed what we can for the engineering to date. And then that just gets shelved until such time as either if that money ever comes back or, you know, we decide to do anything to any of those intersections.
Okay. All right.
Well, all three of these projects that you've listed are important projects for the borough. The stormwater issues, though, is something that has filled Borough Hall meetings. I mean, that's something that, I don't know if that makes a difference with regard to the priority, but it is something that a lot of people have had strong feelings about.
You mean as far as that priority list, Chris?
That's what I'm getting at is, you know, I'm thinking about what have we heard from residents about? And the stormwater is something that we have heard from residents about.
Well, Jim, were you going to go, Jim Babb, were you going to we were still working on putting those inlets in and stuff or not? Or was that a whole project too?
That wasn't a capital project. That we just added extra labor and material costs to the budget. We just finished up the final design, and I would need to order some inlets and some pipe, and we would do that work, you know, sometime before leaf season, basically. So I'm planning on doing that sometime in the next 2 to 3 months.
All right, so we'll hope for no 500-year storms here. Okay. All right, so we're going to move forward.
But it's not going to make a 5-inch,
no,
3-hour.
I know. I get it. I know. It might help with just a regular old heavy downpour, maybe, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Chris. I don't know. Does that kind of answer your question there? It isn't really on a. It's not on a capital project part, Chris.
Well, I think the point is so that we have this possible PennDOT funding source, and if we get the state government to pay $2 of every $3 for a project in the borough, I think it's something we ought to try very hard to take advantage of.
I would agree with that.
So when I talk to Kathy and Colleen tomorrow, I'll see if we can get creative with PennDOT to roll in the bridge and the stormwater management improvements. Again, estimated, you know, ballpark cost of a little over $1 million. The borough's match would be a little over 300,000. So we're basically getting all of the stormwater work done for the cost of what we would have paid out of pocket just for the bridge.
Yeah.
Sound good?
Isn't our current grant that's into them is for a 2 million request, right? With 1.4 from them and 600 match?
Yes, but they've been very clear that it's extremely rare they give out the full amount you're asking for. But DCED said the same thing and they gave us 2 million, so who knows?
Right.
I mean, I would say I'll have the conversation with Kathy and Colleen, give them the projects in that priority order. And if PennDOT surprises us with more money than we thought, we could roll in traffic signal improvements too.
Right. I think we should ask for the 2 million and then we can always scale it back.
Yeah, I think that's the right approach.
Okay.
Good with that.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Shoot high.
Right.
All right. Next.
So committee needs to make a recommendation to award 4th Street.
Do we
Okay.
want to wait till after executive session to do that, or we don't care?
Good point. I think we should probably go into executive session then to discuss land acquisition and right away.
And then come back for this?
Yeah. Jim, you think 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, I think that's all it should take.
Okay, so it's 3:32. Let's say we will resume the public meeting around 3:50.
Sounds good.
Okay. Oh, we
All
want to
right.
do it now? Okay.
We can do it at the end. Oh,
I have it at the end on the agenda.
Oh, I'm sorry.
yeah, let's do it at the end.
We're still going to need to come back into public session, though.
That's
Right.
okay, but at least we can do it at the end.
Okay.
At least then, if everyone who's not interested in that can drop off before executive session if they don't want to hang around.
Correct.
But yeah, I don't think you should take any more than 10 or 15 minutes.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so we got the water system and the letters, obviously. Anything with the sewers there, guys?
Two quick things. If you remember, probably 6 months ago, and from last year's TV work, we had, I think it was 4 or 5 laterals that appeared to have clear water that we suspected groundwater infiltration or sump pumps. After we investigated those, there's only one that appears to be groundwater, but it's coming in at a pretty good clip on Old Mill Road. So we're going to need to line that lateral from the main to their traps, which apparently is where it's coming from. But I would roll that into a capital sewer project. So if we don't do a capital sewer project this year, we roll it into next year. Berkshire Boulevard, I'm just floating this balloon to raise awareness for the not too distant future. Pump station was put in 1995. As many of you know, we end up replacing a pump or so every year there to the tune of 20 grand, give or take. The panel with all the electronics in it, different relays and switches are all now pushing 20, 30, 20, 25 years old. And it's time to think about upgrading that pump station. I've talked to Gorman Rupp a little bit, our pump station people. I've talked to Jim McCarthy a little bit about it. It's probably a $400,000 item to do, but it's going to need to be done in the not too distant future. And I'm just thinking out loud saying, hey, maybe we could engineer it in 2021 and do the work in 2022, something along those lines. But I just wanted to raise a flag to make everybody aware that I'll be pressing for this in the upcoming years.
Okay.
Sounds like a budget item.
Yep.
Yeah, just there'll be like a 6 to 9 month permitting through DEP to do that upgrade. So we got to kind of factor that in the timeline as well.
Is this the one down in the hole out there, Jim?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Right.
The wet well would stay, but it would just be a new enclosure and a new electronic cabinet, more or less. A newer style pump. We wouldn't have pumps down into the wet well anymore. The pumps would all be upstairs in the building, which would be a real improvement.
Okay. All right. Streets.
All right, can we step back just for a second? I was looking at the agenda item on the water, the thing about the State Hill Vista Road project. I thought we had talked about this last month, that there should be some kind of indemnification agreement to the borough from PA American for that, for the borough to put its name on the PennDOT permit. So what follow-up do we need to that?
Well, I don't know. I thought didn't we kind of bounce that in to find out what we thought should go there? I mean, I don't know. What should we have, Chris?
Well, I thought last month I had said we should have an indemnification agreement from PA American. Now, is that something, was there any communication with PA American about our
No,
wanting that or
no,
no?
no. That actually just now is the first I heard that you had made that determination.
Okay, I thought we had talked about it at last month's meeting. Maybe I'm mistaken. Okay, well, that's my position, Jim.
So we'll respond to Bose's office that, or do you have like a draft agreement you want us to just send them?
Yeah, I may have a sample somewhere I can dig up.
Because I'm assuming you'd rather draw it up than have them draw it up.
Sure, okay, all right. I will,
So I'll
look
tell
for a
them that it's
sample agreement.
forthcoming from your office. So
Okay,
they're aware
sounds
of
good.
it.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yep.
All right.
All right.
All right.
Sorry,
The
Tom.
street. All right. Anything else for streets there, Jim? Like we covered some of that, I guess, there, didn't we?
Yeah, I think we covered everything under streets. The onum of the right of way item would be one of the topic of executive session.
Okay. I think the rest we got looking at it.
Yeah, I think we already talked about everything else there.
All right. Okay. Go ahead, Melissa. 7, green light, go. And I don't know, do we cover that too then?
Well, this is the one where we actually had them stop already.
Right, that's what I mean.
And I believe we had council act on that last week to approve halting that contract.
Mhm. That's right.
Okay.
I think we wrote that item before the council meeting and forgot to change that. The council acted on that.
All right. The hydrant deal there, have we heard anything else with that?
Yeah, Chris and I are working on that. I have been in contact with the Doug Mishaw, who came to the March Council meeting on behalf of the Pennsylvania Builders Association. And Chris and I are working with Michelle Mayfield from his office and 2 of the gentlemen from Craft Codes that helped us write the amendment to address PBA's concerns.
So that's still in progress, huh?
In
Yes.
progress. If we can work something out, we'll bring it back to council, but at this point, it's a discussion.
All right, should that be like, I mean, are we gonna eventually solve that, or is that
I'm hoping we can solve it, yes.
all right. Public Works there, estimated completed.
I'm actually working with Kathy and Colleen on the RACP grant program should be opening in another week or so. So Kathy and Colleen will be submitting a grant application on the borough's behalf for the Public Works facility. That program is pretty quick. The window is only open for applications for 30 days. And I believe under normal pretenses, they announce grant recipients within another 30 to 60-day period. So we should know something hopefully by the end of the summer.
How long?
What's the usual? Okay, go ahead, Steve.
What is the time frame that we would have to act on the grant then?
Typically, my understanding is the same as the other ones. We have 2 to 3 years for completion with the ability to request several extensions, but I will confirm that with Kathy and Colleen tomorrow.
That's a good answer. Let's leave it there.
Yeah. Okay, the alley vacations.
The council enacted that ordinance. I'm not sure we have everything filed at the courthouse yet, but, so I would leave it on the agenda for this month, but council's action is completed.
Okay. Bill and George, I think I've seen the signs down there.
Yeah,
Did they just put them up, Jim?
Yeah, the signage is up, and from what I understand from Jeff Beal, that they're gonna give it like 30 days before they start any enforcement.
Yeah, because I saw one car parked the wrong way there on Sunday. Is those signs at the top at George and Hill there, are those aren't permanent, are they, where it says do not enter, the ones that are sitting in the street?
No, that was just because we noticed first we did this, that people weren't even, you come around the corner, you don't even see the post-mounted do not enters. So we just put them there temporarily. We should probably take them down shortly, just to alert people, hey, here.
No, that's fine. Maybe they should stay there for a while, though people get used to it. But I just saw them there. I didn't know what was coming. Yeah.
Those are temporary.
Okay. All right. Okay, let's see, storm and flood stuff. Anything else with that other than what's there?
Nope, we got that estimate of $1.2 million to line the existing pipe. So we were waiting for two things to wrap that up. That we have now. We still don't have information from FEMA. So we've resubmitted the same request that we sent them last fall. So hopefully they respond to one of the two.
All right. Okay, and Old Meal, the road there, that pool overflow.
But the question that came up was whether there was any kind of deed restriction or use restriction that would prevent the borough from allowing the school district to possibly have a parking lot on that property. And based on our research, there is no restriction on that property. The borough owns it without any kind of use restriction.
Okay.
So if the borough wanted to pursue further the development of that property for parking, we'd have to discuss how to do that. But as far as there being any restriction against us pursuing that, the answer is no, there's no problem.
All right, my only objection there is it looks nice right there. I don't know, you want another parking lot, and that floods pretty easily too. The first time that little stream overflows, that's kind of a mess there. I don't know.
Would that be non-pervious?
What was that?
Would that be non-pervious parking?
Oh, I
I
don't know what
remember when we did the estimates, that was one of the options, either blacktop or pervious. I think we could go either way.
Well, I don't know. We don't have to do anything right away, I guess, do we? Besides that, it'll cost us money even if we did so. I don't think the school was going to do it. I thought we were going to do it and they were going to use it.
I think we were going to ask for some cooperation with the school district on that. Need some help with the payment of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's gonna talk for the borough with the school, and the school gonna talk?
We've had conversations. We've had an initial conversation on that. This conversation stopped while the research was being done. Once the school system gets back online, we can initiate that again. One of the thoughts was that the school system would also be interested in the borough deeding the land to the school district, and the school district would pay for the parking lot installation. But we never got that far back into it, awaiting the deed research.
Okay. So what, wait till you talk again? I guess Paul
Yeah, I can have conversations with Mike and the superintendent and see where they're at with it, checking on their financial situation too, because of the situation we're in.
All right. Okay, Paul?
Yes, sir, thanks.
All right. All right, the Verizon.
Chris got me his review comments based off the draft agreement that Verizon had provided. I flipped those comments back to Verizon for their counsel to review. So in progress. Since the last infrastructure meeting, AT&T reached out to me and they are interested in putting a mini antenna on the fire department site on Penn Avenue. You know, I told them pretty much the same thing, get me a draft agreement and what you're proposing. I've not yet received that, so when I do, I will send it to Chris and then add it to the infrastructure agenda for the next meeting.
Okay. All right. The Lincoln Avenue drainage. That's that swale, I guess, right?
No, this is, and I don't know, Gus or Kate, are you on the call? Okay. This is, it doesn't sound like they were on the call. I thought one or both of them were going to be on the call. This is along the highway there where there's the 3-tiered detention basin in the rear yards. And the one at the bottom, there was some washout erosion around the outlet pipe. And we prepared a draft notice for the property owner, but then everyone decided because of COVID to hold off on that. Coincidentally, about 3 weeks ago, the contractor for the property owner had contacted me and asked to be on the agenda to talk about the drainage issues back there. And they had sent some photos in, but I was really expecting them to be on the call today. So maybe it's best that we just table this till next month so we can hear exactly from them the issues and the concerns they have.
Okay. So I assume it means a repair job, is that?
Well, our notice letter was telling them to repair around the pipe, and I guess it sounded like they were looking for potentially, they didn't really know anything about the pipe, but I guess they've been getting water coming in their basement window when the pond fills up. So they wanted to talk to the borough about, was there anything that we could do jointly over there to remedy the situation? I don't want to put words in their mouth. I really haven't had a detailed conversation. I just told them it would be appropriate to talk to infrastructure and go from there.
All right. Leave it on the agenda then.
Okay.
And then what, you'll get a hold of them or what?
Yeah, actually, I never knew this. The doctor that owns the house, she's my dermatologist. So she's the one that freezes all the stuff off my head. So I'll let her and Gus from European Builders, our contractor, know to call in for next month's meeting or in person, whatever we're doing.
All right. The Borough Hall windows.
Yeah, Dolan was in over the last week or two, did some of the punch list items per Mike Cowder's list, and now are requesting pay app number 7, $15,129.96. We'll still owe them a little over $10,000 yet for what we're calling phase 1. But this is due at this point.
Okay, so why would we still owe 10? Is that just a whole number or?
They didn't complete the punch list, but they did the vast majority of it. Some of the masonry stuff they want to do during phase 2 while they have scaffolding up. So there's some of the outside stuff on the punch list they didn't do, and they're planning on doing it when we start. Just indoor items, if you will.
All right, then we need a motion to pay that 15,000 when they're number 7.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, first and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, and we'll pay that one. Okay, the Stonehouse drain pipe replacement, I guess that's the one at the pond there, right?
Yeah, the gentleman from Terra was down a week or so ago. I was showing him the swale and some things down there and our intent to put in that drain pipe, new drain pipe. He said whatever we do wouldn't affect whatever plan he is going to be drawing up here in the future. So while we have that pond drain, I just want the committee's blessing basically that we can put in this, 30 feet of new drain pipe so the pond operates better when we're back to normal.
So the water didn't drain out yet, or, I mean, it did. I saw it's empty, but I mean, it didn't drain out that thing down there?
It did, but it doesn't drain fast, and 2 or 3 times in the past, depending on whatever, We got to get in there with the jetter truck and clean the pipe out, and it just makes life difficult when it doesn't need to be that way. And for a relatively small dollar amount, 3 days of labor and 50 feet of pipe, we can make it right.
Is that without those stones or with them?
Yeah, nothing to do with stones. We're just going to put in some pipe and a new valve.
Right. Does it affect, okay, so that where that little horse thing is in the middle of the pond, is that where that's where the drain is, isn't it?
Correct. We run from that drain to the swale.
And you estimated that at about what?
I never, it would just come out of our general labor, water or rec labor and materials. It would be probably a 3-man crew for 3 days and, probably $1,500 worth of pipe and valves, would be my guess.
Okay, I don't know. Steve, is that okay or what?
Where's it? Where's the drain again?
Well, you know where the, go ahead.
It's probably about 20 feet west of the spillway, just in the floor of the pond. And we just want to go from that existing box, drain box,
Yeah. Okay.
pipe in it.
I believe we talked about this already. I don't have an issue with it.
Anybody else question?
No.
Okay, then I don't think we need a motion for that. Let's just go ahead with unless there's anybody objects there or has a question.
Thank you.
Okay, I saw they were putting up or repairing the pillars at the spillway there though.
Yep.
Okay.
At number 18, sale of vehicles, Pat had already got that approved through his report, so we can skip that.
Okay, and then the pocket park.
Michelle, Jim,
That's partially what we were gonna discuss in executive session.
Oh. Is that?
that'd be under land acquisition, Tom.
Okay, all right.
Hold that.
And the Woodland Road signal.
That's a request we received from Boja Engineering. You may recall the flashing school warning sign at the Wyomissing Hills Elementary School. The school district was, I believe, sorry, I'm kind of waiting for Jim McCarthy to jump in on this one. I believe they wanted to update the signal or it had never been permitted, which came to their attention when they went to make the driveway improvements. So Boja Engineering was hired by the school district to get the signal plan approved by the borough and PennDOT for that intersection. We did receive plans that TPD has reviewed. They actually just issued their first review letter. At some point, similar to the resolution and permit that council just approved at last week's council meeting for the Pennsylvania American changes, we're gonna need to do the same thing for this signal.
Yeah. Sorry, I was talking when you started and was on mute. So, but you did a good job, Michelle. I don't have to add anything. I guess this was supposed to be done from the best that Chief Beal and I could find like 15 years ago, and it never got followed through on. So I guess it was maybe 6 months ago, and Pat and Jim and I met Mike Caffroncelli out there, and they finally wanted to get it done. So it seems like one of those things that fell through the cracks years ago, and they're just following up and getting done now.
Okay.
Does the committee need to take any actual action on that at this point?
I don't think so, unless somebody has an issue against it. You know, we just brought it here because it had been so long ago that the borough wanted it, just making sure that there was no type of strong opposition against installing it, really was why we put it on here. And hearing the bird chirp behind somebody doesn't sound like there's any strong opposition.
No. Okay. I guess then, is that the last one, Michelle, or is there, I mean, Melissa, or is there more at the bottom? Oh, couple more there. All right. Okay, we'll save the pool one for last. Roadway line striping.
Okay. The borough for the first year was going to stripe all lines in the borough at a cost of around $74,000. Apparently, the line contractor, the painting contractor, failed to include into that the long lines because we have never repainted all the long lines at one time. In order to paint the long lines in the borough, that's an additional $12,000. There is money left over from the SALT fund that Phyllis has used and it does have included in her projection of savings. So we would have those funds available to not impact the bottom line that Phyllis has provided back to the Finance Committee. But that would be $12,000 to paint those lines. And now we know we need to add that to our yearly striping costs. But the yearly striping cost would eventually be around $91,000 to stripe the whole borough once a year.
So the bid didn't include that, or what? It wasn't written up that way, Pat, or what?
Apparently that we expected that he had finished everything, but the linear footage didn't match what he gave, the linear footage on the long line. So basically he basically forgot it on his part.
Yeah, because you do the line striping through the Co-Stars program, and that just stipulates a price per linear foot for all the different line types, like a single white, double yellow, all those kinds of things.
Well, I just know we discussed it a couple of times. I said, yeah, they're about to finish that next week, but.
Well, that was what the understanding. That's what the understanding was. I continued to do some follow up, and Tom Endy made contract with A1 Painting, and that's when we found the problem.
And how desperate of a need are we in for the long lines?
The long lines haven't been done for about 2.5 years. They are showing wear.
Yeah, they look bad. I mean, are we getting waxed here with some crap or what? I don't think we're being whacked with anything. It was a mistake on the behalf of the contractor. Yeah, funny thing, the Wyomissing price again. Okay.
Well, we always get good prices in Wyomissing, better than our other municipalities.
Do you? Or do we? Okay.
Oh my God, yeah, because you pay your bills and you pay them on time.
Okay.
Now, private sector, a contractor coming to a homeowner's house, you might get a higher price than a Spring Township resident, but not on the municipal side.
Okay. All right. Give me a smack for that one. Go ahead. All right. Library. No, wait. I guess we got to decide, right?
Yeah. I need your direction.
Yeah.
And you said we have money that we can move within the budget that we haven't eliminated from the budget, correct, Pat?
Correct. It's from the Liquid Fuels Fund, Steve. That's what has to pay for this due to being on the roadway. And there is surplus in there because of not spending it for the salt.
Okay, well, I'll entertain a motion to that effect if it's good with finance.
You all right with that, Steve?
Yeah, I mean, it's not really, we're not doing anything different than what we've said we were going to do. I mean, it'd be nice to keep the 12,000, but I get we got to spend it. So go ahead.
And then the new lines across the road make the long lines look terrible. So I move it.
Yeah. Okay. We got a motion.
I'll second that, Paul.
Okay. Tom seconds, and all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Do it, Pat.
Thank you.
Yep. And the library stuff?
We already talked about that.
Oh, is that all the stuff? Okay, I didn't know if was that something different or what. Okay. Okay, then back to the pool repairs. I guess, Jim, is that from you?
No, I can do that, Tom.
All right, go ahead.
Basically, while the pool was closed, Steve and Jim and Rob and myself met at the pool, and we were going to potentially use some money that would be left over from not operating. That's in the year-end projections of being available. And they were to repair some blue tiles, repair black tiles, repair anchor sleeves, just various maintenance points around the pool that haven't been done for a while. We remove concrete not in use, chalk sidewalk joints, permanently mount some signs, do some follow-up on 2018 electrical inspection work, make sure it's working properly, replace some doors, touchless toilets, flosses, and flushers. But we have available in maintenance and supplies approximately $35,000. We have available in general maintenance manpower budget line item of $14,000. So the $14,000 would be for use of crews within our own organization. The $35,000 would be for if we needed to get an outside contractor to do any of this work.
And that was still in the budget?
Correct. That's in the budget as leftover money from the pool not opening this year yet.
Okay.
I'll make a motion, we get that done. Get the pool drained and get the cover off of it and do the repairs.
Oh, I have a question then.
Wait, oh, we gotta, hold it, wait, we got a second first? We need a second.
Yes.
Anybody? Paul seconds. Okay, Steve, go ahead.
So the idea is to take the cover off the pool, drain the pool. I believe council has some other, potentially some other decisions to make. Is that a fair statement?
That's correct.
So we would get to the point where we would drain the pool, clean the pool, and fill the pool back up.
I'm not sure we could fill the pool back up if you're going to do tile work inside the pool, Steve.
Okay, so how long does it take to take the cover off and drain the pool?
Probably to take the cover off and do the drainage, probably at least a week for everything to be pumped out.
So I assume
they've got
council would be able to meet in that time frame to make a decision on, well, there is another decision to make.
You mean on a special meeting?
Yeah.
I thought that
Well,
idea went south.
Well, it didn't go south. There was some misinterpretation, I guess. Tom, you want to fill in there?
Yeah, John, what we did was Steve and Keith, I misinterpreted what they said. So there were some questions that they had. So what we have is we had 2 yes votes for a special meeting and 3 no. We had 2 that had questions on the pool itself. So it's not really done. But what I'm thinking is we get the pool at least back into condition again. You know, I've been giving this a lot of thought, and we've got a lot of people in this community that have gone through with this pandemic and the turmoils that are going on in this country. And I think when we came out and said flat no to something, we upset a lot of people, a lot of our residents. So I think maybe we need to take a second look at it and see where we go from here. Now I've gotten some phone calls and I've gotten some emails that have been less than cordial and less than pleasant. You know, I'm trying to see things. I'm trying to apply the wisdom of Solomon on this, and it's been very difficult. And I've talked to several of our council members about it. And at least I want to try to get the pool in some kind of condition that if things sway the other way, at least we can do something for some part of the summer. If the governor does not give us the green light, which was the original motion, then things stand the way they are. But we don't know that either. So that's where I'm at.
So then we would get the pool drained, cleaned, and positioned so that either we could go either way with it. We could either fill it and throw chemicals in it and open it, or we could leave it empty, start putting jackhammers to it and fixing it up for the following year. Is that what you're telling us?
That would be it. I mean, we can, from what I understand, we've got just a major, just to get the algae out of it. It's from what I've been told.
I can only imagine that's a beaut, because when you have I have a personal pool in the backyard. If you don't take the cover off this long, it probably got kelp at the bottom of it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's usually off way in April. They start taking that off. So here's where we are.
So the motion is to take the cover off, drain it, get it in shape to make, and then at that point, by that time it happens, we can make a decision on, well, we can either alter our previous decision or continue with potential repairs.
That is correct.
Okay.
So
I think
at least,
we're paddling upstream. It's ridiculous. There's no way that pool should be open.
well, I'll tell you what, I think we at least have to do what Tom said to start, only because the pool needs to be at least, I'll call it exercised. If that's the right word, knowing what I know about maintenance for that. And I don't know, Jim Babb, you want to kick in anything on that?
Yeah, I would say regardless of what council decides, at some point before winter, we need to exercise it. That's a decent term, yes.
Okay, so rather do it now than, too late and later on, so. I'll go with that to start with.
So we
I
won't
will.
start. So we won't start on it.
We're gonna get to the point that we have to make a decision. We're gonna get the cleaning of the pool up, drain the pool, take the cover off. And at that point, we will have a firm, well, maybe we won't have another firm. Maybe it will be the same decision, or maybe we'll have a different decision. But at that point, we'll go the other direction. Are we getting to the point where there's a Y in the road is my question.
Where there's a what, Steve?
Where there's a Y in the road, where we have to go one way or the other. Dead end, one turn left or right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I'm disturbed that one council person who voted, all the people that have signed these petitions and the reasons they have, we knew it before the vote. And one council person changed his mind, and now we are gonna subject ourselves to a clusterfuck of public scrutiny, which is unnecessary. We've already drawn the line in the sand, and to go back on that, I think is a huge mistake, whether you feel one way or the other.
Well, John, I really, if we take this in the proper light, we've got an asset down there that's worth a ton of money, and it needs to be taken care of. I've looked at it. It looks horrible, and it needs to have some work done to it. And now is the time to get it done. Let's take one thing at a time.
I'll call for the motion.
We need a motion for what?
Didn't we have a motion there
We have a motion and a second, Tom.
to fix it up, to get it, whatever?
Can we say what the motion is again, just to be clear?
Thank you.
The motion is to uncover the pool, clean it down, do the necessary repairs to the pool, and refill the pool as we can get it done And that's the motion, and we'll see where we go from there.
Don't forget the baby pool there, or whatever
And the
you call
baby
it.
pool, yeah.
Yeah.
If things don't change, we cover it back up and we'll go back to it next year.
We did have a second for that?
I have one last question. The repairs we're talking about would be the repairs that would be needed if we opened a pool, or repairs that would be needed that would keep the pool down the rest of the summer anyway?
I'm not.
No, I don't think they, go ahead.
I'm not aware of anything that would keep it down over the summer.
Okay, so it'd be just the traditional annual repairs that we may have to make that happened over the winter.
Yeah.
Correct.
And hoping the pumps work.
Got it. Okay.
Okay, we got a first and who was the second? I missed the second there.
Paul.
Was that
Paul Bridge.
Paul? Okay. All right. All in favor of Tom's motion?
Can we get a roll call?
Sure.
Sure.
Tom Boucher,
Yes.
Paul Brass,
Yes.
Steve Brunner,
Yes.
John Woodward,
No.
Tom Mull.
Yes.
Okay. So we'll still have to come back and decide about further progress.
Yeah, I think.
Okay.
Okay.
I think that you know, Pat can certainly. Tom, you've been around that pool a long time and worked on it. Come back to you and let you know what's going on. You know, as the infrastructure here.
Yep. Don't worry. I'll be stopping by.
Okay.
So will I.
Okay. One thing I don't want to see a pile of ants down there though. We're not dropping every other thing that we're doing in town just for that.
I'll discuss with Jim and Rob tomorrow, and we'll get the plan started as to the nature of the crews that we'll need to have down there.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Executive now, I guess we need.
Can we clarify the reason for the executive session? I have chapter 708 here, and from what I've heard, doesn't seem to match anything, but I may be wrong.
What is that again? 708 what?
Well, paragraph 708 from the Sunshine Act says the reasons of the executive sessions. I'm sure Mr. Hartman knows that. We have the same book in front of us. So can we clarify the reasons for the executive session?
Go ahead, Chris.
Chris,
We cannot hear you.
Chris, you're muted.
I am unmuted now. Thank you very much. The
Go ahead.
reasons are land acquisition and potential litigation.
Okay, I guess.
Okay, we will come back into session. What do we need, did you say, Jim McCarthy? About 15 minutes?
Yeah, I think 10, 15 minutes.
Okay, so the current time is 4:15, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, 4:30, we're back in.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
I'm back.
back on? Back on?
Yep.
Okay. All right, we're back out of executive session, back in public session, and we have couple of motions to act on here. One for the Pocket Park. Somebody want to make that motion there?
Why don't somebody read out what it is or spell it out?
Okay, all right. Melissa, do we have a good version?
A motion to accept the offer of the Pocket Park at Penn and Park in exchange of the Innovation Way right-of-way.
I so move.
Second.
Okay, we got a first and a second, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Okay, and so ordered. And now the awarding of the other, we need a motion. We didn't act on that earlier for the what is it,
Construction.
Paris?
Right, the award of Barwish Construction.
All
I'll
right.
make a motion, we accept Barber's Construction's bid.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's a first and a second, and all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, and so ordered. Okay. And I guess that should do it. Thank you, everybody.
I have a question on the Sunshine Act again for Mr. Hartman. Is he still here?
I am.
Mr. Hartman, you said potential litigation. You probably know this is not on the list.
It is.
It's not. It is litigation or identifiable complaints that are expected to be filed. So I don't know. I guess we're not going to solve this right now, but I guess the way that I read it is you're either in an actual litigation that is a public record, or you really, have already, that the complaint is about to be filed, which again,
Mr. Jadik, were you at the council meeting where council authorized me to file certain condemnation actions regarding 4th Street?
Yeah, no, I don't recall.
Yeah, well, this potential litigation matter related, it was a follow-up to the motions that were made by council authorizing me to file certain condemnation actions relating to the development of 4th Street. And what has just occurred in the public meeting, and I think you might have joined us a little bit late, was that council has decided to make an agreement with Equus that will avoid the condemnation litigation by accepting a deed of dedication from them, along with the Pocket Park at Park Road and Penn Avenue, which will eliminate a liability for Equus, and Equus was willing to give us the land in order to avoid the liability of the long-term maintenance on that park. So that's what just occurred.
Okay, I appreciate. Also, I was waiting on the call and just got disconnected when you guys joined. So by the time I put in the password and everything, you guys were already voting on stuff. So I don't.
It's taped, right?
Do this. Say again.
Okay, well, that may have been a timing issue, but I just caught you up.
Okay, I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Okay.
All right, meeting adjourned.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.